Welcome into this week's edition of the Co-Lin Coaches Show. We're all about soccer this week because football was off, so they didn't play, and we've already talked about their upcoming game against the Wildcats. We'll give you all that info in a little bit, but joining me this week is our head men's and women's soccer coach, Tom Cosgrave. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me as always.
And Coach, obviously a little bit of a rough outing on Friday. We talked about it. We talked about how you felt like both your teams athletically were a little bit closer to Jones, just hadn't gotten those score lines, and another one where it kind of feels the same way. You dropped the girls game 3-1, dropped the guys match 2-0. We'll start with the girls match, women's match. Overall, your thoughts on that one and how it went, and from your point of view.
Yeah, I think a 3-1 scoreline was a little bit flattering to Jones, considering how the game went. I thought the girls played really well. They battled really well for large periods of the games, but I think they just had one difference maker who helped them change the game and get a couple of goals late to finish us off.
You look at the scoring summary, and the girls were up first. Lady Wolves were up 1-0. Emmy Cook just ran in, stole a ball. I don't think the Jones player ever really saw her. Then I thought Emmy was going to dribble it all the way to the goal at first. She gets down into the box. She's very patient with it. Shiv finally kind of gets over there, gets into the box. She finds her. Shiv puts it past the goalkeeper, and you're up 1-0. And it's about the 16th minute in the match. But your thoughts on that goal and how good it was to see the girls take an early lead?
Yeah, I thought they were really disciplined with their tactical shape. They've done a really good job of making sure that we could exploit their weaknesses, and that goal could have almost happened 2 or 3 more times as well, but Emmy was switched on for that third one, that the opportunity that came to her. Really good interception, dribbled down the line, waited for the goalkeeper to step towards her, and then just played an easy ball across the Shiv. So it was nice for that combination for the roommates to get a goal there.
So then Jones ties it 1-1 on a counter attack. I thought personally it was a really nice bit of passing and those kind of things to be able to get that goal that they wanted. It's 1-1 at halftime. What's the message to the girls, knowing, hey, we've had some opportunities, we just haven't been able to find the back of the net. If one or two of those find it, we're going to be able to get a win here.
Yeah, we kind of passed the message on. JT done a good job of trying to tell them to try and eliminate the threat through the middle. They're really good in the central areas, especially going forward. So we wanted to try and squash that as much as possible. I thought we did a really good job of that in the first half, but number 7 started to pop up in some really good areas, started to get on the ball a little bit more, started to dictate the game. I think as we got tired, she started to exploit that a little bit more. But I still felt like there was going to be opportunities and chances for us to be in the game. Even at 1-1, I was still kind of confident that we were going to get another goal, another counter-attack, and be able to snitch it 2-1.
You look at it, continue that scoring summary. Jones scores in the 66th minute and the 78th minute, and that's where you get 3-1. That 66th minute was off that free kick, one that you and I talked about. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. I think we were all trying to figure out how that one went in the goal exactly, but unfortunately was able to squeak by Liv Conway. And your thoughts on how well Liv played? She gave up 3 goals. She had 8 saves, but overall, I think even she would say she can do better than what she showed Friday.
Yeah, she was really upset after the game, especially for her standards. She's such a good goalkeeper and she holds herself to a high standard, which is obviously good for a player to have. So she was a little frustrated, especially with the second goal. But, I explained to her she's made plenty of big saves for us this year, and there's going to be another opportunity for her in the games to come where she can make up for it. So hopefully we can bounce back this week and get some good results.
So you look at the schedule this upcoming week, it's your final 2 home games. You'll finish out the season 4 on the road. We spoke about that earlier this year, a little oddity in the schedule, 5 straight at home, then 4 on the road. You've got Hines coming in on Tuesday, and then you got East Central coming in on Friday. We're going to welcome Pat Ross back to Stone Stadium. That'll be a fun time. Be good to see him that day. But first, let's talk about the Lady Eagles and what you know about them coming in on Tuesday.
Yeah, they got a new coaching staff this year, got a lot of new players, a lot of new faces as well. So they've been a lot more difficult this year to break down. They're a lot more resilient in the defensive side of things. So it's going to be a tough task, but I think the girls are ready for it. And these games, now that we've had close to getting these wins against some of the bigger teams, I think now they can taste the success and they want to get some this week. So
then you look at the Lady Warriors, East Central, a team that you've already played once this year and went over there, played them in probably, I think you'd say, less than ideal conditions. It was a little drizzly, a little rainy, but you got a 1-1 tie out of that. But what do you know about the Lady Warriors since then as they come in here on Friday?
Yeah, similar to Hines, they're really good defensively. They're really difficult to break down. Obviously, Pat does a really good job of getting them organised and making sure that no team can come in there and kind of steamroll them. So it is going to be difficult. We've just got to make sure that we focus on what we need to do and implement our game plan properly. And I think we can get some points this week.
So we'll flip the switch and look at the guys match in a match that you and I were just talking about. Guys didn't get a lot of shots, didn't have a lot of shots on goal, and you lose 2-0. Your thoughts overall on the guys match? And it really feels like that scoreline is not indicative of how close this match felt for most of it.
Yeah, similar to what I said with the girls, I think 2-0 was a flattering scoreline for Jones. I thought we were in the match. It was very even, maybe swung our way a little bit more in terms of the opportunities and the way the momentum was going. And at 0-0, I thought, all right, is our chance to snatch it here and get the 1-0 victory. But unfortunately, we've got to piece the puzzle together. We've got to piece the puzzle together and make sure that we can play for 90 minutes. Right now, we're switching off and just giving away just really cheap goals, and we've just got to do a better job there because these better teams are punishing us for our mistakes.
So you hit on it right there. You go back and you look at the tie against Gulf Coast. It was a mistake late there that allowed that one. You didn't allow a goal against Itawamba, allowed a goal against Itawamba, those kind of things. It feels like those small little things are what's really making the difference. And it doesn't matter how often you preach about it as a coach. The guys have to realize what coach is saying is true. Those small little things are really making a difference.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to a bit of concentration as well. I talk to the boys a lot about making sure that they're switched on and they're ready at all times. And I think we just have to still just do a better job with that. I think we're very reactive instead of being proactive. We've got to be able to sniff out that danger before it comes. So that way, if any threat comes our way, we're ready for it and we can keep a clean sheet. I want to keep a clean sheet, especially as a defender myself. I don't like conceding goals, so I want a clean sheet, and then I know going forward we've got enough firepower that we're going to score and win games.
So you look at the schedule coming forward. It's the same for the girls, or same as the girls. You got Hines on Tuesday, East Central on Friday. Friday, of course, is going to be sophomore day, but we'll talk about the Eagles first. An Eagles team that has been nationally ranked for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they've gotten much better than what they were last year and continue to get stronger throughout this year. But what do you know about that group coming in?
Yeah, very young side coming in. A lot of freshmen that are in the starting 11, especially coming from the local area that me and JT know really well. So we've got a good scouting report ready for them for tomorrow, and hopefully we can implement our game plan and make sure that we get some points, because it's getting to that point in the season now where we need to get these 3 points and kind of prepare us to make sure that we get into the playoffs first. And then once we're in playoffs, it's anybody's game from there.
So then you look for the matchup against the Warriors. You're going to honor your sophomores during these matches as well too. But the Warriors, a team that it kind of feels like they've been up and down. They've had some success, but then they've also had some matches where maybe they let it get away and those kind of things. But what do you know about that bunch coming into Friday?
Yeah, I think they're kind of similar to us. Speaking to their coach, he said they've got a really good squad this year. They've played some really good games, but they just can't finish out the game. He said they're playing well for 75, 80 minutes of the game, and they're just letting silly goals give away as well, similar to us, and it's costing them on the leaderboard. So hopefully, we can be on the right end of it this Friday and get some points on the board.
And Coach, obviously, you look at it, we're just past the halfway point now with everything, and I think both teams are kind of maybe not where you thought they would exactly be, but both teams still in that postseason hunt, still making that push. Your thoughts on both teams and how the season's gone and what it's going to take to be able to finish out and make it through the postseason?
Yeah, I think this week is massive. With it being our last 2 home games, we've got to get points on the board. 4 or 6 points is crucial for both teams. I think it's definitely doable, so we just got to make sure that we do that. And then going on the road in this league, anybody can beat anybody. So the last 4 games, they're all going to be close games. They're all going to be feisty games, and we just got to make sure that we beat the teams that we need to. And then, like I said, once you get into playoffs, it's anybody's game. And I told the boys and the girls all year that we don't want to peak too early. It's happened in the past where our team started off the season really strong and then dipped out a little bit towards the end once we've had injuries and a little bit of fatigue and stuff. Whereas for us this year, hopefully we're peaking at the right time, peak into playoffs, and then we can have a good run and hopefully kick on from there in the tournament.
Looking forward to this week, a full slate of action for both soccer teams as well as football. Again, the Lady Wolves and Wolves will welcome in the Lady Eagles and Eagles of Hines tomorrow, Tuesday, at 5:30 and 7:30. Late kickoff there on those. We'll have them on stream if you can't make it. And then Friday, we'll have sophomore day as we welcome in the Lady Warriors and Warriors of East Central. 1 and 3 on those start times, or 1 and 4, somewhere in there. We look forward to having you here for those. If you can't make it again, we'll have those on stream. The Wolves football team back in action this week after taking last week off. On the road against Pearl River, the Wildcats and Wolves will kick off in Doobie Holton Stadium in Poplarville at 7 p.m. on this Thursday. And we will have that information out to you stream-wise and all that other information as soon as we have it on our social medias, on Co-Lin Athletics, on all of those. I'm Kevin Kaiser, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll talk to you next week.